Hi there. Welcome to the video series of Outlook calendar integration using Microsoft Graph API. In this video, we are going to see how we can get access token and the refresh token from the user consent. In the last video, we have seen how we can register our application in the Azure ID and how we can get the client ID and the client secret. If you haven't watched that video yet, the link is in the description. Please go and check out. So for this video, we will walk through the API documentation, then quickly jump into the code. Before we start the video, I would like to request you to watch the video completely to have better understanding. So let's get started. Apart from getting access token and the refresh token from the user consent, we can also get the access token and the refresh token from the admin consent. We will see this in the next video. For now, we will continue with getting access token and the refresh token from the user consent. So to get the access token and refresh token, we have to first register our application in the Azure ID, which we already did in the last video. Then we have to get the authorization, and then we will be able to get the access token and the refresh token. So to authorize the user, we have to redirect the user to the Microsoft Identity platform, where it will consent the user for the permissions we requested. And once the user grants the permission, then the user will be redirected to the redirect URL with the authorization code. And using that authorization code, we can get the access token and the refresh token by making the request to the token API endpoint. So let's see how our authorization request will look like. So this is our authorization API endpoint, where we have to pass the following parameter. The tenant, whose value can be one of the following, either common or organizations or consumer, depending on what type of application we are creating. So we will be using common for both Microsoft accounts and the school or work accounts. We will be using organizations for work or school accounts, and we will be using consumers for Microsoft accounts only. So for this entire video, we will be using common because we will be using our Microsoft account, or it can be also school or work account. Then we have to pass the client ID, which we got while we were registering our application. The response type, whose value will always be code. The redirect URL, it is the URL where the user will be redirected after the successful authorization. So the scope, these are the permission our application request from the user. So we can pass the multiple scopes by separating with the comma. Then the response type, whose value can either be query or form post. So if you pass query, then the authorization code will be in the form of query parameter, and if we pass form post, we will be able to get the authorization code in the form post. So state is the value which will not change before the request and after the response. Once we redirect the user to the authorized API endpoint, they will be able to get the consent page, where it will show all the permissions our application requests. Once the user consents all the permissions our application requires, then the user will be redirected to the redirect URL with the authorization code in the query parameter. So we can see we will be getting the code and the state. So state will be the same, which we will be passing at the time of redirecting user to the authorization endpoint. So with the help of the code, we can get the access token and the refresh token. For that, we have to make the post request to the token endpoint, in which we have to pass the following parameters. Tenant, whose value can be either common, organizations or consumers. For this video, we will be using common. The client ID, which we got during registering our application. The grant type, whose value will always be authorization code. The scope, which we passed while redirecting user to the authorization endpoint. The code, it is the authorization code which we got after the successful authorization. The redirect URL, it is the same URL which we will be using for all the APIs. And this is the client secret which we generated in our last video. So let's jump into the code now. So here I have created a sample MVC web application. So in this I have just added a small button in the home page. After clicking this button, we will be redirected to the OAuth redirect action in the home controller. So let's see the controller now. So in this controller, OAuth redirect will redirect to the authorization API endpoint, and here we are giving the scopes. the response type whose value is code, the response mode whose value is query, the state I am passing the value as the Messi developer, the redirect URL which we have registered during the registration of our application in Azure AD, and the client ID which we got after the registration of the application in the Azure AD. So we are getting all these values from the credentials file. So this is the path for the credentials file. Inside the files we have credentials.json. So inside the files we have credentials.json. So here we have the client ID, the client secret, redirect URL, and the scopes. So for now I haven't added all these values, so let's add the values first. So let's check the port number of our application first. So 44340 is our port number. So we will copy this and we can add it here /auth/callback. So this will be our redirect URL. If we remember, we haven't added the port number in our last video, so let's add the port number in the redirect URL. So let's sign in, skip for now. Let's go to app registration, select the application we created, and let's go to our redirect URLs. So here we have added the redirect URL, but we are missing with the port number, so let's paste it here and save it. Now we have added our redirect URL, so it's time for adding the scopes. So in the scopes we have added these three scopes for now. Calendar.readWrite, so I'll copy all these three and paste it here. Offline access, user.read. Oops, we don't need this. So these are our scopes. Let's copy the client ID. So this is our client ID or application ID. So let's copy and paste here. Then the client secret. Since I have deleted my client secret, so I'll generate another one. So let's copy the client secret value and paste it here. So now we have added the client ID, the client secret, redirect URL, and the scopes. We have updated our redirect URL in our registered app. From here, once the user grants the permissions to our application, then they will be redirected to our redirect URL. So let's see our redirect URL, which is auth/callback. So here we have a method called callback, and from here we can see I have added two file paths. One is the credential file path, another is the tokens file path. So I am using this file because I am not connecting any of the database to my project, so I'll be storing my credentials and the tokens in the files. So in the callback we have the three parameters. One is code. Once the authorization is successful, we will be getting the authorization code. Another is the state, which will be same, and other one is the error. If suppose we have any error, then we will be getting the error, and if the authorization is successful, then we will be getting the code. And the state we will be getting in both the cases, either the authorization is successful or there is error in authorizing. So in this method we are making post request to the token API endpoint, in which we are passing the following parameters. One is client ID, which we are getting from the credentials file, the scope which we are getting from the credentials file, the redirect URL which we are getting from the credentials file, the code value which we got after the successful authorization, the grant type whose value is authorization code, and the client secret which we are getting from the credentials file. So let's run and see how our application will look like. So I am keeping a debugger here so that we can get when are these actions called. So our application is running now. We can see a sign in button here. So if we click this, we will be redirected to the auth redirect action. So we came here, it will redirect us to the authorization server. So let's run. So it will ask you for the login, so let's log in. Then we got the consent page now. So it asked me that the application requires the following permissions. One is have full access to your calendar, maintain access to data you have given it access to, sign you in and read your profile. So for now I'll cancel it. So I came to my callback URL and we can see the code is null, the state is the messy developer, and we got the error, that is consent required. So we came to error page, so let's sign in again. This time I will be accepting the consents. So let's accept. So we came back to our callback action. So here we can see we got the code value, we have the state value, the messy developer, and the error is null. So here we are checking if there is value for the code, then only we are performing this action. And once the request is successful, we will be getting status code as OK. Then we are writing the content in the response to the tokens file. So let's see. So we can see our request is successful and we got the status code as OK, and in the content we can see we have the following data. So let's run and see. In the tokens file we got some data here. We can see we got the token type, the scope, expires in, the access token, and the refresh token. So we got this value. So let's see again. I'll just delete all these value for now and I'll log in again. Since I have already accepted the consent, it won't ask me for the consent again. So it directly came to the callback method and we got the code. So in the tokens file it is empty. Let's run and we got the data again. So we got the access token and the refresh token. So to get the refresh token we have to pass offline access in the scopes. If we are not passing the offline access, then we won't be able to get the refresh token. So let's see. If I am not passing the offline access, then either I am getting the refresh token or not. So let's sign in again. Let's log in and see. In the tokens we got some data and see we don't have the refresh token now. So to get the refresh token it is mandatory to pass the offline access. So let's run again and check. Let's delete the data from the tokens file. Sign in. So here we can see we got the refresh token. So this is how we can get the access token and the refresh token from the user consent. So that is it for the video, guys. In the next video we will see how to get access token and refresh token from the admin consent, and what is the use of getting the access token and refresh token from the admin consent, and also what is the difference between getting the access token and refresh token from the user consent and admin consent. So hope you like the video. If you have any doubt, please do let me know in the comment section, and do not forget to like, share and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.